Right. So to continue with previous session, what we'll do is we'll take this sample data, which yesterday in the previous session we discussed. I will click on this superstore. And I'll get this data. Right. So in this data source, I'm having these orders, and we discussed about all these columns and metadata and few other things here. Let's go to this sheet one. First, let's understand three type of sheets what we have in Tableau, and then we'll proceed with understanding the columns available here. We have something called a sheet, which will help me in creating the reports. All the reports what you are creating should be in this sheet. This is where we'll be creating the reports in Tableau. Next, we have something called as dashboard. Here we'll be collecting all the reports, we'll be arranging it here, and we'll be creating the dashboard here. And then we have something called a story, where we'll be combining my reports and the dashboards created, and I'll create a story here, and this story will be used for publishing or sharing my workbooks. Let's go to this sheet, and we'll forget about this dashboard and story as of now, because our main intention is to practice or say learn about how to start creating the reports. Okay, what you have to do is first we'll understand how to create the reports, and then after learning all these options, the report creations, and then we'll go for dashboard, and then we'll go for story. Let's come to the sheet. Forget about dashboard and story as of now. Now we'll just understand how to create the reports. For creating reports, there are many things what you should actually learn or say practice. First, once I go to this data source, I got the data, all the columns or the fields, we call it as, or it is also called as pills, P-I-L-L-S, pills will be available here in my sheet, which will help me in creating the say reports. Just see here, I'll go to dashboard, I'll not get those columns. I'll only get the reports what I've created. Okay, so if you are creating any reports, all the fields will be available in my sheet only. So keep this in mind, right? Okay. Now, once the data is connected, here I have something called as data pan here. This data pan is the place where I'll have all the fields available here. Suppose if you are importing the data here, say if this is not available, so sometimes what will happen, your data pan what you see here, that is not available. So don't worry. So where will we find that? Just go to this window, and here I have something called a sidebar. Just click on this sidebar, I'll get this. This is called as data pan, and here I have something called as analytics pan. This will be discussing after learning the reports. Let me come back to this data pan. The combination of this data and analytics, this is called a sidebar, which will be in my left hand side. Now I got the fields from this order table, which will be available in my sheet. Now if you can see, let me check this. I have something called as dimension, and I have something called as measure. There are two parts, dimension and measure. Forget about this sets here. I'll just delete as of now. Delete, and let's delete this as well. Okay, see here I have something called as dimension, and here I have something called as measure. All these are actually columns from the table what I have connected here. This one, orders. Let me go back to the sheet. But why there is a classification, so dimension and measure? Let's discuss this, because this is very important for proceeding with my reports. Dimension and measure. What is dimension? What is measure? I'll explain first. Dimensions are nothing but the labels, or most of the time it will be a text part. Keep this in mind. These are actually for labels. Let me just go here and I'll show you. See, most of the labels, see, customer name or segments, which will hold the text part or say labels, which is helping us to create labels in the reports, will be available in my dimension. Then what is measure? Measure means the name itself says it is a value or a number. In the previous session, I told the hash is nothing but the numbers. It's a number data type. But if you see here, most of the cases say ABC is here, then date is available here, and you can see this globe available here, right? So that means your data is actually classified into two parts. One is dimension, other one is measure. If the labels are there, then that will go to dimension, and if the values are there, it will go to this measure section. Okay, so these two sections are very important, because when you are creating the reports, you should know what is a dimension, what is a measure. Fine. Next, let's take one simple example and see how this measure and dimension works. Let me just take one segment. I'll just, this for an example, I'll just drag and I'll put it here, and then I'll drag one measure and I'll put it here. This is just an example to show you how this measure and value or say dimension looks. See, this is the dimension, and what you see here is the measure. That means the measure will help me in plotting these series or say charts. Let me remove this. Can you see this? This is a label now. I don't have the chart. If you want to create a chart, see, I'll take this, and if I put it, it's profit. Now if you want label for that, again I'll put it here. See, I have the label here. So dimension is nothing but the labels, measure is nothing but the values. Fine, let me remove this again. One more way of recognizing that is the color. Can you see this? Here it says green color, here they are blue color. Let me take this segment and again I'll drop it here. See, can you see that? It is blue. Let me take this profit and I'll put it here. See, it is green. That means the dimension will always be in blue color, the measure will be in green color. So this is how you can recognize the say pills or say field names. Let me remove this. So we understood what is dimension, what is measure. Again, I'll repeat, dimension nothing but the labels, measures nothing but the values, and I can also have this color codes, which is blue color is dimension and the green color is for measure. Fine. Next, sometimes what will happen is I have more columns. The previous session we discussed about how to hide and unhide the columns. That is, if I have more columns and if I'm not using the columns to create the reports, then what I'll do, I'll hide the columns. But what if I'm using the fields, but they are very, there are so many columns and I'm confused, because let's say, for example, I'm creating a report of the region or say location. Now let me go here. I'll take this region. The next level, I'll say state. Then again, next level, I'll say city. See, they're all scattered here and there because they are aligned in alphabetical order. To get these fields, I'm actually scrolling up and down like this for a similar kind of groups. So what I'll do, I'll start creating something called as folder. Like what we do, I have 3 projects. All the documents related to project 1, I'll put it in one folder. Project documents related to project 2, I'll put it in one folder. Project documents related to project 3, I'll put it in one folder. Likewise, what I'll do is I'll create a folder and I'll keep these fields into one place so that it will be easy for me while creating the reports. Let's take an example. I have this order date, order ID, and let's say this product and the category and category name. All these fields I want it in one folder because they all are related and I'm creating one report. So if you want to create the folder, what I'll do is take the field, one of the fields which you want to create a folder. I'll just go here, say right click, and if you scroll down, see here, scroll here, see it says folders. Again, I'll show you. Right click anywhere, say right click, folders, and I'll say create folder. It'll ask the name of the folder. Let's say product. I'll just say product and say okay. See, a folder is created now. Can you see this? This is the folder. Now I have this order date which I have put it inside this folder. Now let's say I want this order ID to be placed here. You can drag like this and you can place it here. Fine. Next, I want this category and subcategory. Now let me go here. I have this category here only. I'll just immediately move it. Scroll down. I have the subcategory. I have to go here. See, all the way I have to drag it like this. Instead, I can also right click here and say folders. It'll ask on which folder I should create. See, I'll just move it here. Click on this. It'll move the column here. Fine. So can I create more folders? Yes, you can create multiple folders. Let's say I'll create one more folder. We'll take this ship mode, ship date, and we'll say customer name and product name, all these into one folder. Let me just again do the same thing. I'll say ship mode folder. See, here it says add to folder because already there was a folder. Now what I'll do, I'll go here, I'll say create folder. If I say create folder, it'll ask for the folder name. Let's say ship details. I'll say okay. See, one more folder got created. Now let's say I want to move the ship date. Either I can drag it or I can right click and say folder. Can I say this? It'll ask for add folder. Here I have two folders. Now you can select which folder I need to move. I'll just go here and say ship details. See, it'll move here. I want this product name, just drag and drop. Any columns, if you want to say customer name, you can just drag and drop. Anything, just drag and drop. Now, if you go and check this, the fields in each folder will be arranged, aligned in alphabetical order, like what we have the folders out, I mean the fields outside. If you go here and check this, see, they are aligned alphabetically, so that it will be easy for me to check the fields. Now let me just minimize this like this. See, so don't think that just because I've moved my fields here, they are separate from this one. It's not like that. It is still a dimension. But what we are actually trying to do here, by creating a folder, I'm just trying to align the fields, which will become easy for me to create the reports. If I have, say, 100 columns here, say 100 fields, it will become difficult. I have to keep on scrolling. See, now I have very less fields here. Now, if you want to create a report based on the product, I'll just go here. Whatever is related to that, I can go and check here. Suppose I'm creating a reports based on ship details. See, I'll go here and I'll check this and I'll work on this. So this is how your folders will actually help. So once I do this, then I'll have to drag and drop the fields here. But before that, we'll also understand what are all these and where I should drag my columns and where I have to, put my fields to get the reports. Let's understand the layout. First is, we understood about the sidebar, that is data pane, analytics pane. Next, what we have here, this is actually for filters. These two are for filters. This is called as page filter, wherein this will help me in animating the process, or say I'll get some filters by animations. This I'll do after all the report class is over, then I'll come to this part. But this part, what you see, this is called as filters. The previous session, someone was asking, how can I filter the data? This is where I'll be filtering my records. This is called as marks card. Marks card is nothing but after dragging my reports here, after taking my fields here, So further, if you want to do some additional things in my reports, then I can use this. Say if you want to have the colors, I can use this. If you want to change the size of my reports, I can use this. If you want to put a label, I can use here. So likewise, there are different options here which will help me in modifying my, or say editing my reports. Then I have a drop down here. If we click on this, say after creating the report, if you want to change to any of these visualizations, then I can go and select this. Fine. Next, here I have something called as columns, and here I have something called as rows. These are nothing but similar to your pivot table, say column field and row field, where I'll drag this pills and I'll just drop it here. Based on the location where I'm placing my fields, I'll get the reports here. Next, here I have something called as show me. This is the visualization bar which will have multiple visualizations. Almost some 24 visualizations are there. Let me click on this. See, different reports we can create from this. Say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and here 3. So almost 24 say type of visualizations are there, wherein I can use these for creating further more advanced charts as well. Right? Okay. So I'll come to this show me once we start creating the reports, how to change the reports after creating the reports in this area. So this is the place where I'll be creating my reports. And what you see here, this is the title. So title of the report what I'm creating. I can change the title name here. That will do after start creating the reports. Fine. Okay. Now we understood about the layout. We understood about the sidebar. And we also understood about the filters or the options available here, and the technical word for all these are called as shelf. Shelf means you have that cupboard shelf like that. These are actually called as shelves, wherein I can drag my columns and I'll put it here, and I'll get the results based on which shelf I'm dragging and dropping my columns. Fine. Okay. Next, let's see how we can use, or how we can start creating the small reports here. Let's go here. I'll take this region. A small report will create, drag it, and I'll drop it here in rows. If I just drag it and drop it, this, when I drag and drop in rows, see, this will become like rows. The data is in row. So what will happen if you go to this data and check, see, view data. In the previous session we saw there are some 9,994 records, and if you take this region, let's go and check this region. See, this region, I have 4 different regions. When I'm dragging this field and if I'm dropping it here, I will get the unique region names here. Not only regions, any column if you drag and drop, I'll get the unique names here. Now let's say I want this to be column. Drag this, put it here. You can navigate anywhere you want. You can just drag and drop. See, now I have these columns. Put it here, that will become row. Put it here, that will become column. So that's all. You just have to drag and drop, but you should know what reports I'm creating. Let's say I want to have one more level of reporting. Let's say I want the segment. The next level I need a segment. Just take this segment and I'll put it here. See, region and then segment. Let's say I want this to be in a row. Just drag it, drop it here. Segment I'll take, drag it and drop it here. See, region and segment. For one more level, just take this. Let's say we'll take category and I'll put it here. See, that is next level. So this is region, this one segment, then in that I have this category. I can move around however I want. See, I can just move around like this. Now I have this category and segment. See, segment and category. So you can move around. Say I want this region to be in the end. See, so it depends on the hierarchy how I'm actually using this. Let me remove this segment. Let's say I have this category and region. I'll take this region and put it in header. So this will become metrics. Category, and here I have this region on top. So region will be in column wise, category will be in say row wise. So what we saw here is the dimension. How can I use the values here? Then I have to think about the measure. Let me just remove this. I'll take this region and I'll put it here. This is in row wise. Now when I take this, I'll take the sales field and I'll drag it and I'll drop it in columns. When I'm dragging and dropping here, just observe, I'll just drag and drop here. See, this will become like a chart. Now what you see, this is the row. What you see here is the say the plot or series, what we call it as. The chart gets created. Let's reverse it. I'll put a region here and then sales bottom. See, this is called as swapping from region to column, column to region. So you don't have to drag it manually. Here I have the swap. Can you see this? Click on this. See, okay. I have a shortcut key. If you go and check this, I have a shortcut key. See, Control W, which will help me in swapping. See, like this. I want a table to be created here. Let me remove this sales. I have this in row wise. Now I want a table instead of the chart. Take this sales and don't drop it in these columns. Drop it here. See, you go and check this. I'll get a box. See, this one way. Let me remove this. Or take this and put it in text. See, I'll get the text here like this. If I'm putting here, then that will get converted into chart. If I'm putting it here, that will become like a text. Or don't have to bother. Now my show me will come into picture. I'll go here. See, now this is a chart. Let me just click on this table. See, just click here. Again, I'll get same. The advantage of business intelligence tools is you can play around with the visualizations like this. Let me click on this pie chart. See, that will get converted. Let me click on somewhere here like this. See, I'm just randomly clicking on some of the charts like this. What they do, that we'll see later, but I'm just trying to click on all the enabled charts. Can you see this? I cannot create these charts. The reason is when I'm actually dragging and dropping the fields here, what the show me will do is with the available fields, what are the charts I can create, that will be enabled. So what will happen when I'm actually dragging this, these are the two fields, the possible visualizations, the possible reports which we can create by these two fields will be enabled. Say I cannot create maps, I cannot create these charts, but I can create say table, or say here I have this heat maps, then I have this say tables with highlighted colors. See, then I have this chart. So likewise, okay. So this show me plays a very important role in creating the reports. You don't have to bother what chart I have to create. Once you drag and drop your columns, it automatically enables what kind of charts I can create, and you can check that and you can create it. Suppose if you are not aware of what charts have to be created, but suppose if you've already decided, okay, I have to create some charts like this, then you can directly create it. Fine. Let me clear this date, the fields. Here I have this clear. See, Alt Shift Backspace. Click on this, everything is gone. Say Control Z also will work here. I'll say Alt Shift Backspace. Clear. If you still have confusion with the shortcut keys, you can go and you can move your cursor here. See, it will give me Alt Shift Backspace. You can practice like this as well. Otherwise, also I have a lot of shortcut keys, commonly used shortcut keys. I'll be sharing that with you guys. Fine. So now we know how to drag the columns or the fields or pills and drop it in this area to create the reports or say visualizations. Next, there are a few more things which you have to understand, but they are a little confusing. To remove that confusion, I'll just show you a few practical examples, because these things are important while you start creating, say, advanced reports or say semi-advanced reports as well. Say for example, I will go here, I'll take this region and I'll put it here. Let's say I'll put it in row. Now let's take the sales and I'll put it here. See, I got a table here with the region and the profits, sorry, sales. Now let me take this, the profit, and I'll put it in text. See, this coming one below the other. But what I want is, I want this sales here and profit here. Okay, let me remove this profit. And again, I'll take this profit and I'll put it here. Just observe, when I put it here, I try to put it in text. What happened? It came just below that. Let me remove this. Again, I'll try this and I'll put it here inside this. See, I got this profit and sales. Let me show you again. I took this region and I'll put it in row. I took this sales and I'll put it inside this. Now if I take this profit and if I put it in text, I'll get one below the other. Instead, what I did, I just took this and I put it here. Once you put it here, just observe what will happen. I just put it here. See, automatically I just took only this profit and sales and this region. So what is this? Measure names. It came somewhere in the filter. Measure names somewhere in the column. Measure values somewhere here. Why did these come? I didn't actually drag and drop this. Let me clear all this. I'll explain this because this is so very important in coming reports. What is that? When I actually take any of the data from any sources and drag and drop here, I'll get all the fields here. That we know. But there will be two more fields which will get inserted, that is measure names and measure values. Along with that, we have number of records and few other things that we'll discuss later. Now let's talk about measure names and measure values. What are these measure values? See, I don't have this measure names and measure values in my field here. If you go and check this here, I'll not have that. This measure name and measure value, what it will do is, it will hold all the names of this measure. See, this is measure. Measure names means all the names which is there in measure here. Measure values means the value inside this. Now let's go here. Again, we'll do the same task. Region, I'll put it here. Now I'll take this measure values. Instead of taking any of these, take this measure values and put it in text. See, can you see this? All these, say whatever values are there that came here, and they are sitting one above the other. Now what I'll do, I'll take this measure name and I'll put it here on top column. See, I got all the columns. Can you see the discount, then profit ratio, quantity, sales, and number of records. Now I want only sales and profit. So what did I do? I'll just go here, drag this measure names and put it into filters. And here I have one small arrow here. Click on this and I'll say edit filter. I'll remove the discount, profit share, quantity, and I'll say okay. See, so whatever I did now, dragging all these measure names or say values, region, TABLEAU will automatically do this for us when I actually drag like this, say region, sales, and say profit. See, automatically it will come. So why I'm explaining this in detail is, next time when you get these measure names and measure values, you should not get confused. Again, I will show you because this is little confused. It is a little difficult to understand. I'll put this region. So I'll take this measure values and I'll put it in text, and then I'll take this measure name. I'll put it on top. Suppose if you want to filter the columns, I'll go here and I'll say edit filter. I'll keep only those columns which are required. Otherwise, I'll just try to remove all the other columns and I'll get the results like this. Or you can remove from here also. See, remove this, it will get removed. This is measure value and measure names. So whenever you feel that you need all the names or say some of the names here as headings, you can directly drag and drop. Otherwise, you'll not get the headings here, because these headings, they're not actually, see, the headings what I get here is based on the values what I have in the column in that field. See, now suppose if you want region, if I go here, I'll get the name here. I'll go here, I'll get the heading here. But how will this happen? Because this doesn't have any names mentioned in the column. So for that, what I should do? I should use this measure names, which will help me in getting the names here. See, I'll take the value and I'll put it here. Then I'll take some region. I'll put it here like this. See, like this. I'll put it here. I'll take this values and put it here. See, I'll get it. Okay, so once again, don't get confused with this measure names and measure values. They are extra or additional fields which gets added, which will help me in getting all the names of the measure and values inside the measure in one single column, right? Okay. Next we'll see how we can start creating a simple visualizations today. Visualizations means whatever visualizations we have here, that we'll see. That is very simple. Say it can be a chart or a table or whatever. We'll just see the first level of the reports how I can create. Fine. First, what I'll do, I'll just take this region, I'll put it here, and then I'll take this sales and I'll put it here. See, I got this chart. We call it as, say, bar chart. Bar chart means which is horizontal. Suppose if you want to create a column chart in Excel, we have a separate bar chart and we have separate column chart. But here it's not like that. See, I just have to swap. Say Control W, we discussed. See, to become like column, and this one, say Control W, become like a bar. So what I'll do, go here. I'll just name this so that I can save this. Let me save this. I'll just save this file and I'll tell you in what format you have to save. Control yes. And I'll save here in this TABLEAU. It'll say .twb, that means TABLEAU workbook. Okay. Say session 2. Fine. I saved it. This is for a column chart. Now let me just make a duplicate of it. I can go here, make a duplicate of it, and I'll say bar chart. How to create bar? Say Control W. This is a simple bar chart. Fine. Next, let me make a copy of it, or say I'll make a duplicate of it. Now we'll say stacked chart. Say stacked column chart. Say Control W. Here I have this column. Now, stacked means stacking one above the other. Let me go to this, show me here. This is called as stacked bars. What I'll do is, see here, let me take this segment and I'll put it next to this region. See, I'm getting this chart. This is called as side by side chart, where I have this region. Inside that I have this segments, a region and segments in that. But what I want is the total of the total sales in all the regions, but in that I need the breakup of each segment. In that case, what I'll do is I'll not take the say field here. I'll take this and I'll put it in colors here. Put it inside colors. Just see, drag and drop here. See, if you can see the total, it says almost say 5,000, or say it is somewhere close to 7,000, 7 lakh, and somewhere it is more than 7 lakh. Here it is 5 lakh. It's almost close to say 7 lakh. This is above 7 lakh. Now let me take this segment, and if I put it here, see, it will get split. See, become 2.5 lakh. If I go here, if I add this, say this value and this value and this value, it should be somewhere close to that total value. Instead of this, what I did, I just drag this and I'll put it here. So this will become my stacked chart. Now I want the stacked bar chart. Let me just make a duplicate of it, and I'll say stacked bar. You don't have to do anything, just say Control W. This will become like a stacked bar chart. So it's all about how you drag and drop these fields. That's all. See, I dragged segment here, so I'm getting this. So what if I take this segment here and put this region here? See, now I have this segment value, and here I have this breakup by region value. That's all. See, again I'll just put it here, so you can play around with it. Next, let me take this. I'll make a duplicate of it. Let's say clustered the column chart. Clustered column means that is the chart which is created, the few minutes back we created that, say next to next chart. What I'll do, I'll take this segment and I'll put it here. See, central, then I have segment, the region, segment, and I have this. It's called as clustered column. Say this one, column. Column chart is always, it will be vertical, and bar chart. Let me just create one bar chart. Go here, duplicate, clustered, say bar chart. Say Control W. See, these charts what I've created till now here, these are actually used for comparing each entity from one entity to another entity. That is, if you go here, I'm trying to check the value from central to east, east to south, or something. See, here I'm trying to compare. Next, suppose if you want to create a side-by-side chart with two or say more than one measure, how to do that? Let me create one sheet. See, this is to create a new worksheet. I'll create a new worksheet. Let me put it here. Let me delete this story and dashboard. So here, let me go to this. See, I have this side by side chart. If you can see here, see, it will give me the name as well. See, side by side bars. Fine. Now what I'll do, I'll go here. Let me take this region and we'll put it somewhere here. I'll take this sales and I'll put it here, and then take this profit and put it here. Can you see this? This is of two different, say, dimensions. Sorry, measures. Two different measures. You have the sales and profit. Now just click on this side by side. See, click on this. See, I have profit and sales, profit and sales. But can you see this? I got the measure and measure values. Okay, so you should understand now. This trying to take the labels of this, because I didn't have the labels for this. Now it is giving me as a label. See, I'll just show you again. I'll take this region, and then I'll take this profit, and then I'll take this sales and put it next to it. Now this is like, see, I don't have the label. This is a value. For this, the labels are regions. But what I want this as a label, but still I want to plot this value. Then if I click on this, see, I'll get the measure names. There is nothing but this profit and share is the name of these two fields. And then the values, what I see here, this is the measure values of these two fields. This is called as side by side chart. I'll go here, say side by side column chart. If you want a bar chart, I'll go here, say duplicate, and then I'll say side by side bar chart. Fine. Okay, this is side by side column, and this is side by side bar. Say Control W. See, this is side by side bar chart. Fine. So we understood. So all these are column charts. Next is same thing like what I have here. I have something called a circle chart. What this circle chart will do? It is very similar to your column chart. Let me make a duplicate of it, and I'll take this to the end. I have this column chart. Now I have this circle chart here, the circle views or circle chart. What the circle chart will do is, see, I'll get a circle here in the edge, circle here in the edge, circle here, circle here. Let me go here. I'll rename this circle charts and then click here on this. Take this region and I'll put it here. See, I have this 501 240. If you go here and check this, see 501 240. That means what will happen is the view will change to circle like this. Same thing, I have the stacked column. This also I can use circle chart. Say I'll go here, I'll say duplicate. Let me take it in the end. I'll say circle chart and then I'll say stacked. Again, just click on this. See, I have three different values here. It is one for central, the corporate, and then consumer. So what you see here, see here I have this 1, 2, 3. That is home office, corporate, and then consumer. If you go and check this, here I have this, see home office, corporate, and consumer. How will that get plotted? See here, you go to this stack, see here I'll get one circle, here I'll get one circle, and here I'll get one circle, like that. This is for circle chart. Side by side circle chart. See here, I have this side by side circle chart. Same thing like what I have here for column. I'll go here, I'll say duplicate. Let me take this to the end. I'll say side by side circle chart. Just click on this, that's all. See, I'll get side by side. So it's all about the visualization. See, the fields will be same, but how are you actually representing that? That is important. Not always, you should use a column chart only. Not always you should use only bar chart. There are so many different charts what you can actually show cause so that it looks very nice. Next, suppose if I am actually comparing data like this, I can also create a chart called as pie chart. Let's take the region and then I'll take this sales. I'm getting this column chart. Now what I want is, I don't want this column chart, I want a pie chart. Let me go here, I'll just click on this. See, I'll get a pie chart. If I want to maximize this, what I can do is I can just go here, you have this view, let's say entire view. See, I'll get this is pie chart. I don't have labels here. I want labels. First decide what labels I need. Let's say I want the sales value. See, take the sales, put it in label. See, I want the region names. Take this region, put it in label. See, so any point of time, if you want any labels, just drag and drop in this label field here like this. This for pie chart. Fine. Next, let me just rename this pie chart. Next is, we have something called as scatter chart. Scatter chart, actually most of them they get confused. What is this? The scatter chart will not use your dimension, it will use only measure. What I'm trying to tell you is, the the scatter plot will not take dimension for x-axis or y-axis, it takes measure itself. Let me take this profit and I'll put it here, and I'll take the sales and I'll put it here. See, automatically this got enabled. I didn't do anything, just drag and drop. It will automatically understand that we are trying to create a scatter chart. Let me do it again. I'll take this profit and I'll put it here. I'll take this sales and I'll put it here. See, automatically it got enabled. Now if you see, this is y-axis and this is x-axis. Let's go and check the other charts here. See, y-axis, x-axis. y-axis always it will be the measure, and x-axis will be the dimension wherein I have these labels. But in this case, the scatter chart, scatter plot, see, sales, profit, both are actually values, that is both are measure. Now what will happen is when I'm actually dragging and dropping here, see, it is taking the total sales versus total profit. So if you go and check this, see, it says 286,397, that is profit, that is this one, that means here from here it is going here, it says 286,397. Then what is sales? It says 22,97,201, that means here somewhere here. So it'll go here, it'll intersect somewhere here, see, with this profit and with this sales. Now I want this to be in different colors, or say I want to split this by region. Take this region, and then what I'll do is I'll put it somewhere in this color. If I drop it here, see, now this is split. Say if I'm not taking this, this is for the total sales and total profit. Now let me take this region and I'll put it in this color. See, it got split. Now the plot what I have is based on the region. If you go here, see, central 39,706. So sales is 5 lakh 1,240. See, somewhere here, and here it is 40,000, or say 30,000, 39,000, whatever. See, like this. Let me remove this region. I'll take the state. State. I have so many states in this. If I put it in this color, see. Right. Now there are so many, say, plots here, the circles. Let's take this region only, so it will be easy for me to understand. See, now I have the circles. I don't want the circles. I want a different shape. That is again visualization. How to make it more, presentable. Can you see this? I have this shape. I have this size, shape, label. Say I'll go here. I want label. I'll just drag it, put it in label. I don't want this. I want the sales values. So go and put it in this label like this. See, let me remove this. I'll take this region and I'll put it in color. And then here it is little difficult for me to know the plot, say from where it is going and from where. So what I can do is in any one of these points, right click, and here it says drop lines. Say show drop lines. This show drop lines will not be available for other charts. So let me go here. See here, but there is no meaning for this. Will not get any meaning for this. But for this, we have meaning. I'll show you how it works. Drop line. See, this is to understand where does this intersect. Let me go here. See, like this. Now this is automated. Whenever I click on this, I'll get this drop line. Now I want this to be available. Right click the drop line and say edit drop line. See here, I can edit it. It lasts for x-axis, y-axis. Yes, I want only for x-axis, and then it says automatic and none. Now I've given it as none so that whenever I select only it will come. See, the automatic, that is the labels, and then drop always. That means it should appear always. I'll say okay. See, for x-axis. I want this for y-axis as well. Select this. I'll remove this x-axis. See, I'll get it. So what is there in my y-axis? That is sales. What is there in my x-axis? That is profit. Right click, drop lines, edit drop line. If you want both, see, I have it. Right click, drop line. See, if I say only when selected, I'll get this only when I'm selecting it. Right click and click on this, drop lines can be removed. Gone. So this is scatter plot. Scatter plot are very unique kind of charts which will not use your dimension, but they use completely this one. What is that? Say measures, and it will create me the charts. Now coming to the shape, I was talking about how to change the shape. I was just I told and just told you about a few other things. Let's go and check about the shapes. Click on the shape. Just click here. See, I have different shape. Let me click on this. See, whatever shape you want, you can change it here. But we have more options. Click on this. See, here I have this. So many different options. Let me take this. I'll select this. Say okay. See. Now if you want to increase the size, go here. See. I can use any image. I'm not sure whether nowadays you're getting some dashboards about this coronavirus and all. People are using this, to plot this, wherein I can use that image and I can plot that as well. So if you want, I have that data. Next week I'll show you how to change these images and all those things with the live data what we have for this the virus what we have this COVID-19 data, and we'll try and see how we can create some small dashboards. Okay, so this is scatter plot. See, if you want, you can just go back and just change this like this. Usually we keep it as round so that it will be nice to see, and don't keep such big plot. Just reduce this to this much. It will be nice to see. Usually this is used for a bulk data like this, but again just keep in mind this scatter plot is used to plot the charts by using measure only. Okay, fine. Next is we have something called as a line chart. Why these line charts are actually used, let me just show you. Line charts are actually used for trend graphs. Means knowing the trend of the doing some trend analysis. How to create? Let's go here. Let me take the sales value and I'll put it here. I want to know the trend. But guys, these line charts are actually created for the date. Let me go here and see where is this order date. Yes, I have this order date. See, when I select this date, then only I'll get the line chart enabled. See, I select any other things, it will not get enabled. Let me take this date. I'll put it somewhere in column or in the row anywhere. See, I got the date here. 2015, 16, 17, and 18. The data, what will happen here is it will get combined or say grouped. You can see one small plus mark here. I'll just click on this plus mark. It will expand. I'll click on this quarter. It will expand. Click on this. It will expand. If I'm not finding any plus mark, that means this is the last element in that hierarchy. See, I have year. I clicked on this. It went to next hierarchy, that is quarter. Then it went to next hierarchy, that is month. And then it went on to day. This is the hierarchy. Now let me click on this button. See, it will come back. Now suppose if you want a monthly report, just go here. I'll remove this. Done. See, I'll get this monthly report. So what you see here, this is the dimension. That is month as grouped here. Let me click here. See, I have two things here. When I say month, which has been grouped here, this is actually grouped, say 2015, 16, 17, and 18 combined, and then I'm getting this January. The data what it is plotted here is January month data of 2015, 16, 17, and 18. Let me go here. I'll change this to this section. See, now I'm getting this data that is 2015. So here, see, 15, 16, 17, 18 like this month wise. If I'm going and checking this one, that means it is aggregating and is giving me all 4 years data in just for this January line. I want exact date. See here, I have this exact date. Click on this. This will give me the exact date plot. That is, if it is like 1st January, it is giving me just 1st January only. It is not grouping the months or years or any dates. Let me go here and I'll just change this to month. Let me click here. See, this is the line chart. Now this is for the total sales. Let me go here and I'll take this region and I'll put it in color. See, it'll get split. I can say this. This is for each region. If I remove this region, that is for the total. If I take this region and if I drag and drop here, see, this is for each region. That is, it has got split. You can see that the line is actually very congested here and it's very difficult for me to read the data. So what I'll do, I'll go here. I have something called as area chart. Let me just name this line chart. I'll make a duplicate of it so that you guys will have all these things with you to practice. Say area chart. Okay, now let me just click on this. See what area chart will do. It'll just try to fill the color of each line so that it will be easy for me to read. This will be more in a readable format. See, otherwise it will become very difficult for me to go and check. Suppose if you go and check this, see, but in this case I have filled values. This is area chart. So I'll stop here for some time. If you guys have any doubts, please ask me, and then I'll proceed with more other charts. Yes, now you guys can ask me if you have any doubts.
Hello.
Yes. Address your name, please.
So what if I want data to
Your name, please. Srinivas.
this is Srinivas.
Yes, Srinivas, tell me.
So what if I want data should be printed in the chart?
Which data you are talking about?
So in this area chart, you have taken sum and month. So in each week, I want to know what is the value.
Then you can take label. Say for
Yeah, if you just
say I'll take the label and put it here. See, Srinivas, you're there. Hello.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Yeah.
So you told in public version you can't save the file. You can just practice.
No. I told
But how will we get?
save it in desktop. You can save the file. I didn't tell that you cannot save the file. I told you cannot save in desktop. That is in your local system. You can see whatever I'm doing now. If I say Control S, it is getting saved in my local system. Say here, say save as. See here, this is in my local system. Okay. So this you cannot do it in public version. So everything, whatever you're doing here, I can work in public, but it will be saved in server. It will not be there in your system. That's all.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So
you're going to send this?
This I'll send. That is why I'm actually saving all these one by one. Otherwise, I could have showed you in one chart, one sheet itself. Why I'm saving this all in a different sheet is so that you'll know what chart it is, how to work on that. Any other doubts? Because at one stretch, I don't want to keep doing.
Yeah, Adi sir, this is Sagu.
Sagu, tell me.
For a trend chart,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
When you've shown one trend chart, and this February data is for for last it's a cumulative data for the last years.
See,
yeah.
I'll explain. See, this date is actually a little confusing in the Tableau. I'll tell you how. If you go and click on this, I explained about this part, and exact date. Here, what it will do is it will aggregate all the months, that is from 2015, 16, 17, and 18. Okay, but if you go here, what it will do is it will not aggregate. It will take 2015 January, 2016 January, 2017 January, like that. But if you go here, this will actually combine the complete data, and it will give you only January or say February or whatever. That means what you see here is the combination of 2015, 16, 17, 18 January. But if I select this one, so what it will do, it will give me the consolidated data of that particular month. Say January, complete data is consolidated for 2015. Then January 2016, say 2017 January, like that. Sagu?
And likewise, it can give us YTD and so and so forth, year to date
You have
and
to
other.
arrange the data. You have to align the
Yeah.
data like that here. If you go here, see, I have the options here, like this.
Cool. It's very, very useful.
Okay. Any other questions?
Sir, in scatter. Hello.
Scatter.
Sir,
Yes.
am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Your name?
Sir, like you just Srinivas. Sir.
Srinivas, tell
So
me.
you just scattered in scattered chart. You just dragged and dropped two entity, that is profit and
Measures.
sales.
That is profit and sales.
Yeah. Sir, how will in other charts we used to do the same thing? Like we used to just go and drag the two entities, and we used to get bar chart.
Yes.
How come we get scattered chart here?
Okay.
Is there any specific?
Yes, yes. See here.
Option? Yes.
See here. What I was telling you guys is, see, when I'm actually dragging in the other charts, I was using this dimension and measure. See, for the labels here, what you see, I was using this dimension, and for this plot, I was using this measure. But when it comes to your scatter plot, can I say this? Both are actually measures. That means automatically it is decided that it is actually a scatter plot, because only scatter plot can have dimensions, the measures as x and y axis. In rest all the other charts, if you see, I have this dimension and the measure as combination.
So the software will know automatically.
Automatically it will know, even if it is not taking, you don't have to bother. You have to show me, just go here and click on this. See here, it's not enabled at all, because here I have this it's not a proper scatter plot values. Let me go to this pie chart. See here, again it is not there. Now let's go to this scatter plot. See, or let's take one more new say sheet itself. Let me take this. See, it's not enabled unless and until I drag. If I take this region, if I put, see, it is not enabled. Now suppose if I go here and take, say, sales, see, just observe that. See, understood? So automatically it will enable, because it is understood that these two are actually dimension, and I'm trying to create a scatter plot. So if I click on this bar chart, see what will happen. See, I'm getting something like this, like that. So you're creating a scatter chart, then I need to have only measures, no dimensions allowed. Here also you can see 0 dimensions, right? Any other questions?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Others? Any other questions, or shall I proceed?
Adi, what does this area chart reflects? Can you, if you can explain?
Area
What
chart
is
is nothing. See what will happen, I'll tell you. I have this line chart, correct? Let me just make it little simpler. Here it is very difficult to read the lines. So what area will do is it will just try to fill the color for this. Say for example, I have this line. See here, the same thing. It will just fill the color so that it will be easy for me to read. So it is going one above the other, right? See, so this will help me in filling this so that it will become easy for me to read the data. That's it.
And these are the accumulated values for January, February, and so on and so forth for the previous years.
It applies same thing here also. It's the same thing. It applies here also. See, same thing as will be applied here. Only thing is the view is different. That means here I'll get line. Here it is just filling the area. That's why it's called as area chart. Area means it is just filling that area. The border what I have, it will just fill that.
Perfect. Thanks.
Okay. Right. So let's proceed. Next. Next is we'll see how we can create the tables. The beginning we saw that measure values, measure names, and we created some tables. Now what we'll do using these tables, we have some more tables, that is highlighted tables or heat map tables. So what are those? That we'll see. Okay, fine. Let me take this region and then I'll take this sales. Sorry, we'll put it in text. See, it's a very simple table. Now suppose if you want one more column, then what I'll do, I'll take this and I'll put it here. I'll get this measure names. This we discussed a few minutes back. See, I'll get this table. But this is just, what I'm getting is a normal table. Now I want to highlight this. So what I'll do, let me go here. See here, I have this heat map. Just click on this. See, based on these values, it'll just give me a kind of color codes here. So instead of creating some charts like this, it's just a simple chart, or it'll say, for example, let me just take this sales, or we just take this. See here, let me remove one of this. See here, I have these values. So what it will do is, depending on these values, it will just give me the size. Say, let me click here. See, let me just increase this. See, the size of your say value, whatever is there, based on that, it will just give me these values here. That means you are just trying to give a very small kind of visualization, which will help me in showing this data like this. Now this one is the highlight. Say highlight, what will happen is, for example, here the lowest value is 3,91,722. The highest is this one. So from this color, it goes on to the darker color like this. So here, let me just take more values. We take subcategory and I'll put it here. See, you can see the shading happens like this. Now let me take segment and I'll put it here. We'll take category so that it will become a small table, and I'll put it here. See, depends on the shading. Say for example, 16,000 is actually the lowest value. If you go and check that 16,000 somewhere here, see, it's very light. But 1,35,000 is the highest value. Here it will become dark. How can you check that? Just double click here. See, the lowest value is this and the highest value is this. Suppose if you want to change the color, go here, select any of these colors, whichever you want. Let's say I want this green shading. Just select this and say okay. See, like this. So I can just try to highlight the values based on the kind of values they have. It is like just highlighting the tables, that's all. It's like what we have conditional formatting in our Excel sheet. So here we are just trying to highlight the values, right? Okay. Now for this, if you want to have some what is that grand total for columns or rows, so for that we'll do it in the calculations part. But just quickly I'll show you how to have the totals here, so that you can just have a glance of it. But I'll go in detail when it comes to calculations. So I'll go here, see total, I'll just say show row grand total, so I'll get the grand total here. Go to analysis, say total, and if I say column grand total, see, I'll get the grand total here. Okay, so these things you can do on tables. Next, I'll put it as table. Fine. Next is we have something called as maps. Yeah. These maps actually help me in creating a chart depending on the names say for example, I'll go here, I have this state and I'll put it here. See, I have these states. I want to create reports based on these states. See, here these two got enabled. Let me remove this. I'll take some other column, the subcategory. See, this will not get enabled because they are not proper names for creating the chart. Sorry, this maps. Now, when I go here, I'll select this and I put it here. See, this will get enabled. How will I actually know that this is a geographic data, or say I can create a map out of it? Can you see this? I have this a globe map here. So this will help me in understanding, okay, this is actually a kind of chart which I can create for maps. Now let me take this and I'll drag and I'll put it here. I'll get these two maps enabled. Let me remove this. The easiest way is just double click on this. And double click on this. See, I'll get the plot here. In maps, we have two different types. One is, say, the symbol maps. Other one is the field maps. The symbol maps are this one, where I can see the symbols here. Depending on the values what I drag and drop, these symbols will change. Say, for example, I'll take this sales. I'll put it in this color. See, this will become filled. That means I'm trying to fill the values. Let me take this out and take the sales and put it in size. See, depending on sales value, I can see this size here like this. There are so many things to learn in this maps. That itself is a different chapter that will go in depth. So today I'm just trying to show you guys how we can create the reports, a simple reports, that's all. Okay, so don't think in a very advanced way, but there are a lot of things what you can do in this maps and other charts as well. But today I'm trying to teach you guys how to drag and drop these fields and create a simple reports out of this show me. Okay, see, this is called as say symbol map, where I can just drag and drop and I can have the symbols here. And if I click here, see, this is the filled map, where I can fill the values based on the measure what I'm actually selecting and putting it here. Okay, now I want the labels for this, so I can go and check. Say I want the state label, just go and put it here. See, I'll get the labels here. I want the values also, just put label. See here, let's go and click on this symbol map. See, this will become a symbol map. You can just go and click on this like this. Now let's say I want the values for this. Take this, put it in label. See, I'll get it like this. Okay, fine. So these are some of the simple charts what I can learn from these say show me what we have. But otherwise there are so many other different advanced charts what we can create by combining these things. Let me just make it as symbol map, and then just make a duplicate of it, and I'll say field map. Let's click here, field map. I'll just take the labels, and if not, I'll just take the state. Okay, we'll save. Next is, we have something called as dual axis chart. I'll do this and I'll stop here because the next topics will be little more lengthy. That is the calculations and filters and so many things. So that we'll discuss in our next session. But this is again a very important one. But this itself will take some time. So after this, I'll give you some more tips and then I'll stop the session. Now here, dual axis means if I'm actually having a chart, one is column chart, other one is line chart. If you want to use something like that, then I can go for dual axis chart. Let's go here and check. Let me take a simple chart itself. I'll take this region. Let me take this sales. See, I have the column chart which we learn how to create in our first chart itself. Now let me take this discount or say any other fields which has got very less data. I'll take this and I'll put it just next to this. Can you see this? It's in percentage. This is in lakhs. So when I actually take this, it's a very small number actually. But if you see here, see, is in percentage. If you convert this into number, what will happen? Let me go here and say side by side chart. See, you cannot see the discount at all. See, it's not visible at all. But what I want is I want these two charts to be combined, and this discount should be like a line chart. So what we'll do, let me take this, and here I have something called as dual axis. Always let your dual axis say field be the second one after this say field. Let me select this and I'll say dual axis. See, I'll get something like this. So don't worry. Now what I'll do, I'll go here. See, once I take this, let me do it from beginning for you guys. Region, and I took this sales. And I took this, can you see this in the marks card? I have only one marks card here. Now let me take this discount, and if I put it here, just see here, I have one for sales, one for discount. Now what I did, I just go here and I'll say dual axis, and here in this sum, I'll say bar chart, this one. And then I'll go here to this discount and I'll say line chart. That's it. Let me just drag it. Increase this. See, the line chart which has got percentage here, that discount, and what you see here is the sales. If you want, just go here and say show header. See, removed. Will get removed. Okay. So this is dual axis chart. Dual means I have two different axes. Now if you go here, see, this one axis with the discount and percentage. Here I have the sales with say in lakhs. I cannot combine these two in the same series, because if I convert this into number, it will become like 0.05 or 0.1, 0.2, which is very much lesser than they say 1 lakh or 2 lakh or whatever. So in these cases, I can use this dual axis chart, and again, this dual axis chart plays a very major role while creating advanced charts. Okay, fine. Let me just put it as dual axis. Fine. Sorry, I forgot one more chart here, which is tree map. We'll do that as well. Let's save this. Here I have something called as tree map. Tree is, you have a tree. In that I'll have so many branches. Same thing here. Let's take this region and I'll put it here, and I'll take this sales. Fine. See, I got this chart. Let me click on this tree map. If I click here, see, depending on the size of the values, I'll have these boxes here. Let's say these are the branches. Now let me take, let's say I'll take this segment and I'll put it here in this text. Just drop it here. See, have region. Within that, this will get split. Consumer, corporate, office, see, like that. Let's say I want to have further more drilled reports. I'll go here, say category, and I'll put it in this label. See, region. Can you see that? A dark box is there. Within that, I have 3 different segments. Within that, I have, say, technology, furniture, office supplies. That is the category. This is called a tree map. Now I can rearrange. Say I'll just go here. I'll take this region and I'll put it in the end. See, nothing's got changed. Now if you see here, this is one segment. This is another segment. This is another segment. After that, it is divided into different categories. Then in that category, I have this region. Can you see the flow here? See, first is segment, then I have this category, and then I have this region. You can play around with that. See, I'll move this category here on top. See, it gets changed like this. So this is called as tree map. Now I want a tree map with bar chart. What I'll do, just take this region and put it here. See, this is different region. Within that I have this category, and then inside that I have this segment. Like this also I can create a tree map chart. Where this can be used, it is very similar to your column chart or bar chart or whatever, but here what it will do, it will compare the drill down reports. it is like I have one branch, in that one more branch, in that one more branch. So it is like a drill down reports. Okay, so this is called as tree maps. Still we have something called as box whisker. Then I have this say bubble chart. Then I have this histogram chart. Then I have this bullet. So these charts require, more information about how to use these calculations and how to understand some data. So these charts I'll keep it as is, and then once we finish our calculation part, okay, the calculated fields part, then again I'll come back to the advanced charts. Then I'll cover these charts which are there here. Okay, so I'll stop here for the day. I'll save this.